Hello, folks. This is Amp at Jazz That Cruise. We are here at the Warner Theater in Washington, D.C. We are about to watch Brian Culbertson do a pre-check. They will come out, and I think each one will start individually, I believe, and Brian will come out. He would do a little plan. He would do a little talking. It's exciting to be here. This is for before the show. We are allowed to come in where we can watch him do the pre-show while they getting all the instruments in tune. So we're just waiting patiently for Brian and the crew to show up.
Smell good. What's up?
What's going on,
Y'all
Nick?
excited for tonight? We're gonna have an amazing
Nicholas Coach, folks.
Me and Brian got together 2.5 years ago and started the writing process of the Big Trip album. And believe it or not, we wrote 9 songs in 4 days. Quickest writing experience I've ever had in my life. The synergy was just out of sight. And we cannot wait to share it with you tonight. Y'all ready to hear some good music?
Definitely.
First, I'm gonna play something on my own. So I released an album called Blue Magic in August 29th. This album for me is my nod to 70s soul music, the music that I grew up on, the Stylistics and the OJs and Teddy Pendergrass, and the list goes on. I'm an old soul if y'all can't tell. And I wanted to see if I could kind of bring some of that magic to life. So I'm gonna play some music for y'all. That sound all right?
Yes.
Let's go, Mike. It's coming, it's coming.
Nicolas Coles.
Thank you so much. This next song I'm gonna play is called Blue Magic. This is the title track, and this is one of my favorites. First of all, this went #1 for me on the Billboard charts. Also, I had a chance to record this in Detroit with a 16-piece orchestra, like they did in the old days. My favorite songs have strings on them from legendary string arranger Paul Reiser, who did strings from Motown, Temptations, Four Tops. And like I said, soul music is my heart, so I wanted to see if I could bring some of that magic to life, so it's Blue Magic. Now, ladies, you know I gotta do something for y'all. So fellas, this is not your song. Just grab a hand and let her have a moment. Ladies, can I play something for y'all? The song's called Brown Sugar.
looky, folks. He's making our way, making his way up on the stage.
Yeah, so much my name is Nicolas Cole. Well, I guess I'm Brian Cole.
That was Nicolas Coles. We are here on this Day Trip Print Show.
Hey, what's happening? This new record is great. How are you? Hey, we're back home. Hi. Can I sit down? How are you? Let's hang out. I can still get up. Not quite there yet. Easy. Get up. I hope so. If I can't, I'm in trouble for the show. I'll tell you that much. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Good to be back here. Good morning. It's beautiful here. It's fun. I get to walk around. It was a nice day today. It wasn't that cold. It was a nice fall. Okay, last time I was here, it was really cold. It was dreary, windy, and all that. And I was like, I'm good. Today I was like, oh, this is beautiful. Let's walk around. It's cool. Anyway, I'm just saying my meal, and I'd like to open it up for discussion, comments, questions, concerns. I pointed over there. I know some of you traveled in for, so thank you for being here. Hello, welcome. Come on in. Oh, that's great. Yeah. I don't know, anything on your mind? Well, happy birthday. And you too, happy birthday. Happy birthday. It is Scorpio season.
Scorpio season.
Yes, sir. So the collaboration with Nicolas Cole, how did that come about? This gentleman asks. I had been checking him out since his first album came out. He was 17 when he released his debut album. And somebody said, you know who sent me Nicolas Cole's album, first album? Cecil Ramirez. If any of you know who Cecil is, God rest his soul, he passed away a couple years ago. But Cecil was a dear friend of mine and another fellow great pianist. And he was always checking out young cats coming out. And he sent me this CD. He's like, you'll be. I was just a kid trying to get in on your turf here. What's going on? I was like, let me check it out. And I'm listening, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. This is really good. I was like, I definitely hear some of my licks in here. But, come to find out, a couple of years after that, we ended up meeting and would hang out at various festivals or whatever that he would come to. His dad would drive, It's so cool. And so we ended up talking, and he's like, man, I gotta tell you, I listened to your records nonstop growing up. So he couldn't help but to, have some of those licks in there. You'll probably hear, there you go. So then, I saw like really great stuff in him and started mentoring him and started pushing him to try to do other things. And, hey, this is great. Okay, we're going to open up your listening horizons. We're going to listen to this and this and this. Put some of that in there. I knew he played in church growing up, so it was like, okay, you got to bring some of that influence in there, and then kind of get your own melange going. Yeah. You know what I mean. So then a few years ago, we ended up writing one song together. I was like, hey, let's write a song together. We wrote it over the internet, just back and forth. I was like, oh, this went really well. And then we wrote a second song. And then I knew then he put this record out, and he had one really kind of fusion-y song on there. It was called Stranger Things. Have you heard his song called Stranger Things? No. Listen to it.
from that song, I don't even know if I told him. From that song, I knew he would be a really good collaborator songwriting-wise for Day Trip. Listen to Stranger Things and be like, it has a fusion element to it. He liked that TV show, Stranger Things, so he named a song after it. It doesn't sound like it should be at that show, but you don't have to tell him that. It's a good song. Anyway, that was a long story. When's the next cruise? In February. The Smooth Jazz Cruise. It's sold out, sorry. They got one in September, though, on the West Coast, out of Vancouver to Los Angeles. You're going to be there. That's still available. So otherwise, you got to wait till 2027. I'm still doing that, but where you been? Oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to be doing our 13th annual this year. We just announced Hawaii too.
Very expensive.
Only one time. One an hour. So if you want to come on out. If you don't, whatever. Yes, hello, then I got you. Yeah. No, I wrote 30 songs by myself for a trilogy. Yes. By myself. You know what I mean. She's talking about Hang Club. She's like, we weren't on there saying we don't like that shaker sound. It was amazing collaboration. It was wonderful. But that is a good question. How do I decide, when to co-write with someone and when not to? I think it starts with the album concept. So if a lot of times before I even start writing an album, I'll come up with an overall concept, an idea for an album. So Colors of Love. That was a very intimate type of album. And I knew immediately, it was like, well, I gotta write all these songs myself, it's personal, right? Trilogy was kind of similar in that regard to where, that was during when no one was going anywhere. So I was by myself in the studio. I said, you know what, I'm just gonna write these songs, I'm good. But thankfully we had the hang, we were streaming, and so there was some amazing interaction there. But then, look at the 20 album, or the Funk album, or Day Trip album. Those songs are a little more extroverted, for lack of a better term. And I love collaborating with people when I know I want something maybe that I may not think of. So, you got to call other people in for their ideas and interesting musical tidbits that they can throw in. You know what I mean? So I think it just depends on what kind of album am I making. Am I making a more personal, intimate type record? Or are we going big? Does that help? Does that make sense? Yeah. Wait. There was you were next and then I got you and then yeah.
Who inspired your touch?
Ooh, who inspired my touch? That is an interesting thing. I think Joe Sample.
Yes.
Can you hear a little Joe Sample in there? George Duke. Anytime I repeat a single high note, ding, 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 that's George Duke all day. He would wear that note out. And I think to myself, if I can slightly wear it out, I'm okay. I'll never do George, but he was just unbelievable.
That was a good song.
What's that?
That was a good song.
There you go. Wear it out.
Yes,
I mean, and then there's Jeff Lorber. I listened to a lot of keyboardists over the years. This chick Korea, who was just a prodigy. I'll never be in that, but I love listening to it. And Herbie, of course. Man, I'm on this kick of like this late '70s, early '80s, more electronic albums. Boy, we did some wacky stuff back then. You ever get into that stuff? It was crazy. He used synthesizers when they were brand new. Talk about experimentation. It was incredible. Listen to 4 a.m. by Herbie Hancock. It'll blow you away. 4 a.m. I had never heard it before recently. Nathan East told me about it. He's like, you ever heard the song? I'm like, no. He's like, oh. And I'm obsessed with that song. Harvey Mason on drums, Jaco Pastorius on bass, and Herbie played all these sounds over the top of this. It's unbelievable. Anyway, yes. Oh, work with Sheila E. She is so much fun. She's just a blast to work with. She comes so professional too. She come in. She had her. She brought 2 people with her. A drum tech to set everything up and get it right, because she's not going to do that. And our engineer who knew exactly how her microphones should be placed. And so we're in the studio, we're just hanging out while they're getting everything set. She immediately starts smacking the heck out of these drums. I was like, wow, she means business. She's like, come on, Ron, hit it. Okay, hit play, hit record. With Sheila, you don't want to, you hit record immediately. And she just like, the first take, she was just like wailing on this song. It was incredible. We only did 2 takes. We were serious. It took her 15 minutes to do that. See, they say, okay, I got this funny story. David Samuel, remember David Samuel? I've worked a lot with David over the years, and he told me one story I'll never forget. Back in his heyday, he was like huge. Everybody wanted it. David Sanborn solo on their album. Every pop artist was calling David Sanborn at that time. He just had that sound, the 80s sound. And he was doing so many sessions in New York, but he got a call from this German group. Remember 99 Youth Balloons? It was a huge pop hit in the 80s. Everyone's heard it. You've heard it. Anyway, my point is, after they did that first record, they had this huge budget, and they were like, we want David Sanborn to play all that. And so their manager kept calling David's manager and offering all this money, and kept saying no, 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 no. He said finally it got so ridiculous. He's like, I guess I'm going to Germany. They flew him on the Concorde over there. And I just paid an insane amount of money. He's like, all right, I'll go do that. So he shows up at the studio. I'll make this story short. Shows up at the studio. They hit play and record immediately. And he blows this incredible solo, 8 bars long only. Played it, and it was like, everyone in the studio was like, oh my God, that was incredible. Thank you. But then the producer was like, he's only been here for 5 minutes. I think we should, maybe ask him to do a second one and just see how it goes. Okay, this is great. Can you do another one? He's like, oh, okay, fine. Does another one. Just smash it out of the park. Incredible. And so then they're like, man, he's not even been here for 10 minutes. Let's experiment. And they were talking. He's in the booth. He can't hear them talking. And he's just seeing them in there. If you've ever been into the studio. And so finally, they had him go over and do all that. Well, what if you try some of this from that and finally he caught on. He's like, you know what it is? It's too bright in here. Why don't you turn all the lights off? Like, oh, okay. And so they rolled tape when there was tape back then. And they came to this part where the solo happens, and it was silent. And they're like, I don't know what's going on, because they couldn't see it there. It was pitch black. He bolted out the back door. Anyway, my point is, you pay for time. An incredible performer will come in and knock it out immediately. You know, if you're trying to cheap out, get some cousin down the street, you're going to spend 9 hours trying to get a good performance out of them. Anyway, I think somebody else had a record there, and then is she coming on the stage tonight? No! I have no idea. I mean, you know, you never know. She's doing her thing, we're doing our thing. If our paths cross, sure, you never know. Yes. You're excited? You're coming to Hawaii? Oh, good. Well, I wanted to do, so I, been doing Napa for now 13 years. And then we did Chicago for several years. We've been doing New Orleans for a while. So ultimately I decided, you know what, let me just keep doing Napa, but rotate these secondary jazz getaways to different places. And namely places that people want to go. Duh. So I said, well, selfishly, I wanted to go back to Hawaii. I hadn't been there for a while, so we put that together. And then after the Hawaii thing, we're looking at East Coast ideas and back to the mid, so ideally, it's just going to go rotate around to different places. So Hawaii just is the next one. Yes. Yes. High bacon music.
Thank you. It's called The Journey. Ryan has a song called The Journey. I just added it. I love it. I love it.
That's you. Hey, open energy. Is that good?
Good. Just want you to know, yes, a lot of this new tour has really got me going.
She's seen a couple shows already.
She's on the YouTube. I mean, when I find that out, it's going to be on constant play. And I only got into like 8 years ago. I just want you to know, I love your old stuff.
Yes.
This right here is the one that's yours. And you.
It feels good? Yes, it does. Thank you. You and then you, yeah.
Yes, sir. I just want to comment because this young lady here had everybody tickets 6 months ago.
Oh, wow.
250 miles.
And here we are.
Here we are. She is your biggest fan. She's a little shy tonight, so she constantly reminded me that you were her boo thing. She said, "Yeah, she would be cool."
Like Adam. That's sweet. Thank you for coming. Yes. Where'd you drive up from? Norfolk. Oh, cool. We were there in August. Well, we were out there. And here you are in DC. Very nice. Very nice. Yes.
Hi, I wanted to let you know how enthusiastic your music is, and I play you on my set list when I'm operating, so it keeps me going, makes the patients happy, so that's great. And I'd like to ask, some years ago, we saw you at the Merriweather Post Pavilion Jazz Fest. Yeah, Capitol Jazz. And you played with Chuck Brown. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was so much fun. did that collaboration happen?
So the Chuck Brown collaboration.
Hello.
Obviously, we're in DC. This was an amazing thing that happened. So I was doing, remember the Capitol Jazz Cruise? Did you ever do one of those? Well, anyway, I had done the first 2 years, I think, first 2 or 3 years. Maybe it was the second year of it. Chuck was on the cruise as well. And so I had actually never seen Chuck Brown at that point. And everyone's telling me, it's like, oh my God, you gotta go to the show. You don't even know what's about to happen. It's like, all right, we'll see what's going on. I ended up in the middle of the dance floor. Winding it up with Chuck. It was, as they say, an experience. And it just blew my mind. And after that show, I was a little Chuck Brown groupie. I hung out at the front of the stage until he came back out, and I said, Mr. Brown, you know, what did he say? I was like, that was unbelievable. I'm playing on the ship, so I'm a piano player. If ever, any time in the future, there's any chance of doing a collaboration, it would just be such an amazing thing. And he was, if anybody got to meet him here, you know he was just this genuinely, amazingly nice, cool, super cool person. And immediately he's like, oh, right, yeah, let's do it. And his voice, I can't do it, but you know what I'm saying? And he's just like, yeah. And so, a few months later, my manager calls Tom, his manager, and we arranged for him to come to LA. We flew him out, and he came to my home studio, hung out for a whole day, and when I tell you there was a party at my house. This was the craziest party that ever happened in my house. First of all, he shows up with his producer and an engineer, and they proceed to start calling people in LA that they knew. They didn't ask me. People just started showing up. First person to show up at the door was knocking on my studio door. I opened the door, I'm like, she's like, hi, I'm Faith. It was Faith Evans. She shows up out of nowhere. I was like, oh, hi. Come on. And all these people ended up showing up. I'll just be real. They decimated my bar. And then some. It was amazing. Anyway, we had so much fun. Sinbad showed up, Ray Carter Jr. came over, they were local. And Barry said that it was nuts. It was a whole lot. But anyway, miss Chuck so much. That was so much fun. Cool. I know, that's right. So I think we need to take a group photo. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Because I know the doors are for the regular people. We're going to open in about 5 minutes, so we got to turn around, get a photo, and then, how you doing? Good? Put it right there. Boom. Whoa. Thank you. All right. Go like that. Just get 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Now big fun on it.
Big fun.
Big fun.
All right.
We just don't know what we're gonna get.
Thank you guys.
I haven't seen the itinerary.
You're coming.
Daytona, Hawaii.
Brian Culbertson, folks. That was Brian Culbertson doing the pre-show to his day trip. And what a time that was for him to go out his way. What a time was for him to go out of his way to invite all the VIPs. to come and he was talking to us. Nicolas Coles, he played 3 nice songs for us off his CD. And Brian's such a wonderful person. He does this at the majority of his shows that he have. I have a video of the last time he was at the Lyric in Baltimore when he invited us down before the show. And he just stand and talk to us and take questions. You don't get artists doing that. Brian is a great guy. And I guess we're going to be signing off now because the real show is going to be starting up in about 30 minutes, I believe, 30 to 40 minutes. So this was great being with Brian. And for you guys out there, you have a good one. This is Amp, the Jazz That Cruise. Have a good one.